Hi everyone, in this video we are going to discuss about the controls that are used or that we can use for a website development or a web page development in ASP.NET using a C Sharp. So here I have created a project with the name of website 6 and I have added one page with the name of default ASPX. Now to design a web page, uh, we have to add the controls. So we have all the controls in a toolbox. If you are not getting a toolbox in your Visual Studio, just search here a server explorer and a toolbox. And if you are not getting here, just go to view menu, search for a toolbox, click it. So automatically uh, it will show the toolbox for you on a window. So normally these are the various types of controls in a toolbox that we can add to our web page in a ASP.NET using C Sharp. So we will start with the standard controls provided by the ASP.NET in a C Sharp. That these are the controls that we have used in Windows Form application. All the controls that we have used in a Windows Form application, same controls we can use on our ASP.NET web page. Just by drag and drop or by double clicking, we can add the controls to our web page. So for the new, we have a file upload, hyperlink, how to, and normally the web page is a collection of hyperlinks. Whenever we click on it's only the jumping from one page to the another page. Likewise that we can create our own hyperlinks, we can add the image to your web page, image button. So these are the normally all the controls that we have used in Windows Form applications. So it comes with all the text boxes, all the buttons, all the image boxes, all the check radio buttons, all these things, calendars, panels, list box, labels. So all these things we can add through the standard toolbox to our web page. So the next control that we can add from the toolbox is the data controls. So normally the data control is used to represent the information from the database to our web page, or from the server to our web page. So these are the various controls from the data control, that is chart. If you want to display the information in the form of chart, it will display the information in the form of charts. If you want to display the information in the form of a list, so the data list will display the information data as item in a list, and a represent of the data can be customized via templates. The inline editing and the deleting of data is supported by the data list. The data pager will allow you to display the information on pages. The detailed view, the detailed view control display the single record of a data at a time. It supports updation, deletion, insertion of a record. It can be used in a conjunction with the grid view control. It can be used in a conjunction with the grid view control. The entity data resource, if you want to fetch the data entities from the database, so we can use this control. The form view, the form view will again give you the information, a single record of a data at a time, like a details view also. And the supporting edit of a data, this requires the use template to define the rendering of each item. Developer can completely customize the appearance of this record using the form view control. So grid view control allow you to display the information in the form of a table. The list view will allow us to display the information in the form of list of items. And the repeater, it is the most important. This control is used to display the information, a repeated list of the items that are bound with the controls. It provides the complete flexibility in regards to the HTML representation. So these are the some data controls that we can use for our development of a website. Then the validation controls are nothing but the controls that we can use to validate the things that we have entered into input areas, that is into text box. The compare validator is used to compare the values from two text boxes. Normally whenever we are sign upping and whenever we are sign upping our account to any website, at that time we have to enter the password and then we have to confirm the password. Those two things must password from that two window must be same, then only it's possible to create or set that password. So same like compare those things are managed through the compare validator. The custom validator, if you want to set your own set of rules for entering enter data into that particular input box or into text box, we can create using the custom validator. The range validator allow you to enter the value up to a specific range. The regular expression validator, we can apply this for any text box with the regular expressions. Like if you want to set in a text box for only entering the email address, so we can set that text box or validate that text box with the regular expression validator. So it must work for only the emails, so it will check for the symbol, all the domains things. The required field validator, in the sign in page we need to mention that login name, username and password is mandatory, so required. So if you want to set those validations with the login form or to that particular text box, we can use the required field validator. So these are the validation controls that we can use for the validation of inputted data or entered data into your website. So the navigation control, again the navigation control gives us a menu design, a sitemap path and the tree view to our website. Just by adding it, you can see this is the menu design, this is the sitemap design and this is the tree design. So if you want to add those things to your website, we can add through the navigation controls. Then the most useful and the good one to use, that is login control in a ASP.NET. That is uh, if you have to create a login window, normally just double click it, automatically it will create a login window for you. If you want to create a sign up window, just double click, it will add a sign up window for you. Now if you want to add the window for the change password, just drag and drop or double click on that control, it will create a window to change the password. Now if you want to create a window for the password recovery, if you have forgotten your password, so you can create. If you want to get the login name, you can go to this control. A login status, that is a logged in or a logged out, so you can go for a login status. So these are all the controls that are used to create an user account, a login into account, to get logout into account, a status of your login or logout, all those controls. And this is the most important and the useful thing in a ASP.NET or in the web development using ASP.NET. Then web part, again this is the control which is used to in the portal framework, which the end user can open, close or move from one zone of the page to the another zone. The web parts are included in the ASP.NET Server Control Frameworks and are used like any other ASP.NET Server controls, and we can create our own applications using custom applications or custom web controls using web parts. So these are the controls that normally we use in a web pages. If you want to move from one page to another page in the same zone, so we can create using the web parts. The Ajax extension, the Ajax is a combination of um, JavaScript and Ajax Actually, it is combination of JavaScript and XML files. And if you are creating or if you are using those things, so these are the things or these are the controls that we can use. So if you want to creating a website using JavaScript and the XML, so we can use these controls. The script manager is used to manage the script, the timer control to set the time, the update panel and the update process. All these controls are used in a programming. If you are developing a website using JavaScript and XML. So dynamic controls, so these are the controls which are used for the validation purpose. Normally the dynamic data controls are used to obtain the schema information at the runtime. These controls also provide the default display formats according to the a common user expectations, and enables us to easily customize these formats. So normally the dynamic control is used to uh, like a template to fetch the information from the form view, list view controls to display the fields from the form view or a list view. Then the dynamic data manager, this is the dynamic data manager used to provide the communication between the data bound controls and the data sources. The dynamic entity control is used to load the controls dynamically from the database. The dynamic filter is used to filter the data tables or say row using the specified columns from tables. The dynamic hyperlink control, the control is used to create the hyperlink based on a table actions that enables to update the data dynamically. The dynamic validator, the last one, this control is used with the data fields or say data entities to catch the exception thrown by the dynamic data management. So these are the things which are used with the database. And the reporting control, this reporting control is used to create the report. All these things, if you want to create or print your actions, or if you're if you have completed your all the actions and you want to get the report, so you can create the report through the reporting. And the HTML controls or toolbox controls in a C sharp. So these are the HTML controls that we can add to our ASP.NET project in a by double clicking on this we can add it to our. So we have three type buttons: the button that is the normally input button, then the reset button and the submit button. So these are the three various different type of buttons in HTML. Then we have input text, input file, then input password, input checkbox, input radio. So these are the controls related with the HTML. So we can create these controls to the HTML code also, or by just by double clicking on these controls we can add these controls to our ASP.NET pages. So these are the all controls from a toolbox of a ASP.NET in a C sharp. And using these controls we have to develop and dynamic websites, so we can create the websites with the more interactiveness. And we can use any of these controls as per our convenience. So this is all about the controls, toolbox controls in a ASP.NET in C sharp. Thank you.